everyone, this is Jane with Barlow Herbal, and happy Sunday, June 5th of 2022. Now, it is a beautiful, beautiful sunny day here, and we have had sunshine and amazing weather all week. And the epiphanies, the energies that I have tuned into this week have been really pretty astounding. And a couple of cool things I wanted to share with you. The main themes are peeling back the onion, which are the layers and layers and layers of belief systems that we are literally programmed with from the moment we're born until we decide to peel back the layers. And the second big epiphany that I had this week is it's truly okay to walk through this life with different perspectives, even from people that are close to you. Now, this is a little bit of some things I talked about last week, but these have been cemented in a really beautiful way for me this week by a couple of things. Now, one of the things that really made a big difference in my cementing this perspective of respecting and being okay with other people's perspectives on a really, really high level is a book that I was recommended by my nephew, Benjamin Hardy. And it's a book by an author named Anthony DeMello. I've never heard of him, but the book that I read, and I actually read it twice this week, I read it on Audible, is called Awareness. And it just shatters everything. In fact, after I finished the last chapter, I started back on chapter 1 and I listened to it again. And I'm going to actually expand on this concept a little bit more in the next couple of weeks, because this book talk about peeling away the layers of these things that we're programmed, and we continue to program ourselves because these belief systems that we have from when we're very young, we think that we think we've peeled them back. And some of them we have, and some of those of you who've been on an awakening spiritual journey for a long time, to me, it is a journey. I don't think we ever can say, okay, I've arrived and everything is perfect and everything is great and I am now a Zen master and I can walk through this life with no angst and no hard times at all. I mean, I think that this is a continual journey. So I'm going to be bringing some of more of these thoughts. I need to cement this in a little bit more myself before I kind of share a little bit more of them. But basically, what I've realized, and it's amazing when the switch flips, because the week before this week, it was a heavy week. And I'm sure that many of you have probably felt that too. Maybe it's just a combination of a bunch of different things. And there was truly a few light bulb moments that went off for me, realizing that I am the one who causes my own stress and anxiety and my lack of happiness. If I am unhappy because someone else is responding or reacting or being a certain way, and I am expecting them to make me happy, that is an absolutely ludicrous thought. And I've actually, to be perfectly honest with you, I've lived a good chunk of the decades that I've been on this planet living in that type of expectation of people, situations, mostly people that as long as everything's going along great and people are doing, everything that just seems to fit into my nice little categories, everything is fine. But as soon as someone has a different perspective that maybe is a very hot topic, there's been a lot of hot topics this last couple of years, if you think about it. And there still are a lot of hot topics, but let people have their own perspective. And I place my own happiness on whether or not someone else has the perspective that I do, or that they will listen to my perspective, that they will understand my perspective. None of that matters. None of that matters. I get to choose the perspective that I want to see. I get to peel back the layers and layers of the onion of the beliefs that I maybe switched out, because I grew up with a certain set of beliefs that I managed to peel back the layers, look very deep into my own self, my own spirituality, my own growth and my learning, and I've been able to adopt new and different paradigms of thinking. And what happens is sometimes we replace paradigms of thinking with ones that don't serve us either. And I think that's where it all really comes down to this. We don't we don't know what we don't know. And I think if we are able to peel back all of the layers and realize that we cause our own angst, we cause our own problems, and you don't have to depend on anyone for your happiness except for you. And God, this is just so freeing. I would just say that if this is something that you still struggle with, and I don't have this down pat. I don't have this down absolutely perfect, and I can say, okay, um, this one clicked in, and it's a set for sure thing. I think that this is a work in progress, and for me, I want to learn this really, really quick. I want to be in a place of homeostasis, regardless of what other people are doing. And here's the thing too, I realize it really doesn't matter how other people judge or think I'm living my life. Maybe they think I'm irresponsible. Maybe they think I'm off my rocker. Maybe they think I'm crazy. Maybe they think the things that I think and do are completely out in left field. And here's the thing, I really have reached a point on this one. That's okay. I really don't mind. And I think that we have to be okay with being with ourselves, because we live in this world of such constant stimulation from all of our technology, always being around people, always having the TV on, always going somewhere, going out to eat, going to the grocery store, going to work. And think about this, we're always, always around people. Now, I've had an opportunity this weekend, and it started a couple days ago, and it's going to still go for a couple days, to have the house to myself. My husband is on a trip to visit his brother, and tonight will be the fourth night, 6 nights by myself. And the thing that's interesting is I typically, when he'll go out of town, I will book up my schedule. I'll see friends, I'll see family, and I'll book up my schedule with a whole bunch of stuff. And what I've decided to do this time is not schedule anything. I decided to say, okay, let's really put this into practice. Can you just be by yourself? Now, I've enjoyed times to myself over the years where if my husband's out of town, my kids have been grown up for a really long time, I'll totally relish in the idea of like, I've got a night to myself, or I've got 2 nights to myself. And a lot of times over the years, I will book that up and I'll keep myself busy. And it's just fascinating to me. It's been 3 nights already. My husband has all these pots and flowers. He does this every single year. And every time he goes out of town where the weather turns warm and they need to be watered every night, I found myself being just a tiny bit annoyed. Like, okay, this has taken me 30 or 40 minutes to go through all the front yard pots and all the backyard pots. Now, trust me, I love the way our yard looks. It is the most beautiful thing that he does every single year. And he gets a lot of joy in it. He does most of the work. Sometimes I'll go out and help him, but it's pretty rare that I am out, actually planting all the pots, because there are so many. But one of the things that he loves every evening is this little routine as he goes around and he waters by hand all the pots. And so I've had 3 nights of watering, and what I've done is I've just said, okay, I am going to find the joy in walking around the yard, looking at all the beautiful flowers as they're growing. I mean, we're still the very first part of June, so everything is starting to really grow and bloom. There's been sunshine, and everything is just looking beautiful. And I will tell you, um, there's just this peace and this bliss and this joy as I am walking around the yard all by myself. I don't have my phone with me. I'm not listening to anything. I'm simply paying attention to what's going on in the air. So many birds right now. I'm a little, um, maybe overwhelmed is not the right word, but there are so many birds this year. And I don't know if it's just because they're now in my awareness on a higher level, where I'm really stepping away from my technology, but listening to the birds. We have this little fountain in our front yard, and the sound of the water as it's just bubbling on this little fountain, and as the sun starts to set and the sky turns beautiful, and um, the weather starts to cool down a little bit. I told my husband when I talked to him on the phone this morning, I said, I don't know if I'm going to give you your job back of watering the pots, because I have been enjoying it so much. So I think that when we're able to shift our perspective, when we're able to accept other people's perspective, um, things can shift pretty quickly for us. And you know, the journey is never perfect. I think we should question our beliefs on a regular basis. We should tune into ourselves and start to get really, really comfortable with being by ourselves, with ourselves. If we can't be in stillness with ourselves alone, we have some deep inner work that I think we need to do. And, I still have 3 nights, and I am beyond grateful. I feel like I have tuned into a higher self, and it's amazing. Now, some of the things I did write down a few things because there's 5 words that have kept coming into my awareness. So this doesn't go on too long. I'm gonna start on these. So one of the words here is flexibility. So be willing to be flexible in your life. Be willing to bend rather than break. Now, one of the things that I love about this is think about when you have a really strong windstorm. And think about a couple of different trees, a willow tree and a really strong oak tree. Now, willow trees, they bend and they're flexible. And in a really strong, hard windstorm with high winds, which we get a lot of that here at certain times of the year here in Utah, and big old trees can totally break and come crashing down. And an oak tree might be super strong, but in a really strong windstorm, it can topple a heavy oak tree simply because it's not flexible. So if you can be flexible and realize that this is the way to weather the changes that are happening right now, be willing to be open-minded and flexible with anything. I think this can go for anything. Be amenable to change, and you will always flourish in wonderful ways. So the only thing that's constant in this life is change. So my first word is to be flexible. And trust me, I'm a Taurus. I am stubborn. And I have realized that it doesn't serve me to be stubborn in so many areas. It actually has the opposite effect. So if I'm super stubborn, I can crash and I can break. I don't want to do that. The second word is energy. Now is the time to be in action. Now is not the time to be lethargic. Now is the time to cultivate and work on your energy. Take action. Be creative. To me, this is so important. Flow. Okay, this word. I love the word flow because this can go along with everything like being flexible, being creative, being willing to look at other people's perspectives. So everything will fall into place when you don't resist the flow of the meandering path. Life is not a straight and narrow. Life moves. Life flows. And if you can flow with life, be flexible, be open, sit in stillness, be with who you are, and realize that you're not perfect and that you have the ability to change and to grow and to give forgiveness to yourself and others, then you are able to go with the flow of life, which, what else can I say? That's beautiful. Beauty. Okay, now this really came to me as I was walking around my yard, watering all of the plants. Sometimes I'm stunned at the sheer beauty that surrounds us. And I believe that as human beings, we have the ability to see the beauty in everything and everyone. Look at people and situations and realize the beauty in them. In fact, there's an interesting thing that happened this week. As I told you last week, I've had supply chain issues. And one of the things that I'm having a little bit of a hard time with is the bottles that our Glowing Vitality Skin Serum comes in. They've actually been back ordered since last November. So I'm still hoping, but in the meantime, I've been looking and I've been looking for something else to put our serum in. And I found a bottle that looks the same, but instead of a silver cap and a silver bottom, the top is black and the bottom is black. And it was like, okay, it's the same size. The label will fit on it great. It'll hold it. It's an airless pump, so it'll protect all the oils that are in it. And I ordered. I was like, okay, here's a company that's got some. I can get those in. My customers will totally understand. Um, so I went ahead and ordered them. And I ordered enough that I knew, okay, this will get me through. So I got a call the next day from the company, and the guy, when he called, he said there was a little bit of nervousness in his voice. And the thing is, I'd never ordered from this company, and it was a pretty large order. And what he told me is that he was so sorry, but the computer was wrong. It hadn't updated their inventory, and they actually did not have as many as I'd ordered in. They only had a tiny amount. And I was like, oh my goodness. Well, I kind of had this feeling I wasn't supposed to order those anyway. The universe was saying, no, those are not going to be what the right bottling and packaging for this product. And I said, you know what? I think that actually worked out great. What I'm actually looking for is something silver. And so he said, oh, well, we actually have both of those items, the black one and the silver one, are coming in 3 weeks. And I was like, oh my gosh, well, this is what the universe was delivering, is I wasn't supposed to order those. And I'm telling you, he sounded like a fairly young person, maybe in his 20s or 30s. And he said, I thought you were going to be super mad. He said, I can't believe that you would respond this way. And I'm going to go through the rest of my day responding like that to everything. And I was like, oh my goodness. If I realized that these little things that happen, first of all, I've always believed that everything happens for a reason. And when you can pass on kindness, compassion, it brings beauty to the world. It brings joy to someone else's day. In fact, it didn't change the situation. The fact I could have reacted poorly, or I could have reacted the way that I did react. It didn't change the situation that the product that I needed or that I was wanting to order wasn't available. So I think if we can realize the beauty in our interactions with people, as well as just the simple physical beauty that is around us, this can change everything about the way we walk through our day. And you're pushing amazing energy out to the world, which changes everyone you come in contact with, which is beautiful. Now, the final one, those are 4. The final one on this is letting go. Surrender, surrender. I had to learn that hard last week. I had to surrender so many things that were new belief systems that I'd acquired as my time as an adult. I've released so many belief systems that I acquired as a child. Things that I was born into, things that I was grateful for, but things that didn't serve me any longer. And I'd released all those, but along the way, I had acquired new belief systems, and a lot of those stopped serving me. And trust me, I think that as humans, we have these big egos that don't like to let go. We don't want to say, I was wrong. We don't want to say, maybe you were right. Maybe I need to, or maybe I simply need to look at your perspective. Or maybe at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I mean, that is the thing. So I think if we surrender, we realize all is well. You don't have to go alone. We don't have to walk this path alone. We need to remember that we have the Creator. We have God with us. We have God in us. We do not have to walk this path alone. Okay, now I'm going to end with this. I found something really cool and I wrote this down. If you want strength, you need flexibility. If you want resiliency, you need patience. If you want success, you need failure. If you want expansion, you need grounding. If you want knowledge, you need learning. If you want wisdom, you need intuition. So, that is a lot to maybe unpack, but maybe not. I hope some of this resonated with you. I am off today to have brunch with a dear friend, and I decided to open up part of my time alone for brunch today, but I'm going to finish out these 3 nights with myself, sitting in stillness, disconnecting from my technology, and realizing that I have the ability to look at everyone's perspective, rethink my perspectives, peel back those layers, and give grace and forgiveness and love, not just to everyone, but to myself. And to realize that this path is a beautiful, meandering path through this life, and it doesn't have to be so hard. We can be flexible. We can be loving. So I hope you have an absolutely beautiful, beautiful, brilliant Sunday. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you subscribed. I do thank you. Some of you guys who said I haven't subscribed because I don't have an account, and I got some beautiful emails last week, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for those. We are a beautiful tribe of humans that are walking through this huge, beautiful change, and I'm so grateful to be on this journey with you. So have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.